Welcome to Deep Thought. Today I'm going to talk about the Metaphysics of Maury. And I said I was going to do this a while ago. In fact, it was going to be the second podcast that I did for the Deep Thought channel. But, you know how things flow sometimes. Other things pop up and everything. And, I just flow with spirit, right? But, you know what's funny? If you watch anything, and this is before I even got into, really critical thinking or deep thinking or anything. Kind of got it from high school. We had a teacher. Ironically, he taught religion. This was in high school. He taught religion, but he was an atheist. Yeah, I know. He taught religion, but he was an atheist. Because basically, one of the main things he taught us was critical thinking. I remember he gave us a homework assignment. And the homework assignment was to watch the ABC Nightly News. But not to really watch the news, but to watch the commercials during the news. And that was basically a lesson in sponsorship. And all right, so they showing all this stuff. Who's playing a commercial and who do they want to see those commercials? So that was an early lesson in critical thinking. So you know what? If you watch any news program, it could be 60 Minutes. It could be something on CNN. Pay attention to every little thing. First of all, with any news program, it's basically the news they choose to share. There's always a whole lot more going on. I wouldn't even say the most important stories, but you got to say, all right, what agenda is being made by this company reporting on this particular news thing? Because remember, news, except for PBS, and even PBS, they still had to deal with donations, but any news program is a business. If you doubt me, just look at the commercials during those news programs. Shoot, they trying to make money. So if they get up there and just tell you some raw truth, you might get some advertisers like, oh, hold up. People ain't going to watch that. I can't deal with that. That's how Fox News got to where it is, right? And, I just learned to look at everything. So, I said I was going to talk about the metaphysics of Maury, but before I even get there, right? Hey, I checked out the Orville. You know what? All the subliminal stuff going on in there. First of all, there's subliminal stuff going on in every single show. Shoot. It used to be this kids show that when my kids were little, I had to stop my kids from watching. It's called Caillou. That was a little rotten ass little 4-year-old. It was like, that was a bad kid and stuff. I was like, are you kidding me? They had to change it up, though. I think a bunch of parents picked up on it because this kid be throwing tantrums, all that stuff. It was just, I'm just like, hold up. I had to stop my kids from watching it. Or even something like Blue's Clues and whatnot. Man, that'd be messed up to do the Metaphysics of Blue's Clues. I could, though. So, but yeah, I was watching the Orville. And yeah, despite everything about it, I was, with me, I just like science fiction, man. Just to think about some stuff. Plus, the show is deeper on many levels. But, I did that thing about, that single black mother. I was like, this week, they were a little bit off the chase. This is the first time I think I bust out laughing for an episode. Ironically, I can't remember which scene it was. But they were getting their freak. Or I had this blue alien on there who emitted some type of pheromone that made anybody he touched, they just get hopelessly in love with him. My man, for those who watch the show, they know the two main characters, the captain and the commander, were once married, right? But they broke up because she cheated on, the commander cheated on her husband, Seth MacFarlane, with some blue alien. So they brought the blue alien back. All of a sudden, she back in bed with him. But because of this pheromone, Seth MacFarlane was back in bed with him, or as this character's called, Ed Mercer. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, wow. They still had the two Wharf brothers. I'm calling Wharf brothers. Because, come on now, it's they stealing from it. They having marital difficulties. Baby's just been born. I'm just like, okay. And one of the actors that play one of them is Cuddy from The Wire. I was like, dude, your career should have went the other direction. But anyway, right? Two of the people affected by that pheromone was the sister again. Because she had this, it was interesting because they had this little blob that's like in love with her. Right? He bringing her flowers and stuff. She talking about like some sexual harassment stuff. She gonna report him. Then all of a sudden she show up to his place with a, sexy dress on and all of that stuff, right? And then later on, it's like, there's a scene where they're having sex. And it was like, Seth MacFarlane is still the creative Family Guy. And we can't even get into how subversive that show is. But I was like, okay. And it's funny, like when the Blob was coming on to it, he was talking about her badass kids and whatnot. I'm like, dude, hey, this ain't a good look for some black folks in that damn show. I'm like, man, I'm laughing about it, but then the sex scene, I was like, okay. So she a single mother, and I know she had some pheromone, but still though, a single mother having sex with some Blob. Man, that's the ultimate swirling right there. Damn. Yeah, so, you know what? I just said, hey, all right. But peep it. One important thing I would say during watching any show, because on a more serious tip, the subconscious takes anything real that it sees. They don't say this is fiction. They don't look at it like it's fiction. It just look like something that's happening. Every single thing it sees, fiction or not, it takes into it. So the key to do something with that is always question it. Send a critical. While it's going down, that thought is going down or image going down, send a thought with it like that was stupid. Like send a critical thought with it. So that'll kind of break it up in your subconscious. So, that pill or medicine or bad food, that bad spiritual food don't really take hold like that. Because then every time you think about it, your subconscious be like, that's some stupid shit. It'll see it again and it's like, that's some stupid shit. Right? But anyway, right? The metaphysics of Maury. Maury is some deep subliminal shit, right? First of all, people go to this white male, this upper class white male, for solutions. And not just blacks, but poor whites go to this upper class white male for a solution. He's God. It's like, you have a problem. Let's go to Maury. And then, God, as Maury, tells them what to do. He say, you are going to take care of that child, are you? It's not even a request. He's telling them. He's telling them. He's controlling them. And best of all, God, this white man, is looking at him like, damn, I want to bust out laughing at your dumb ass, but you pay for my Mercedes payment. Look at his face sometimes. But it's still the thing of God, because they even got other shows like that. Like Robert Irvine. That's another show. Used the same thing. That dude was on the Food Network, because I used to watch the Food Network all the time and everything, even with Iron Chef. I can find the subliminals there, but I'll be checking out the food on that network, so I'll let it pass. So, but, it's that same model. Here's some dude from Britain and stuff. It's always the same thing. Get the most dysfunctional people you can. Steve Wilkos, Bodyguard Steve. It's the same thing. You go to the white man, God, and he will solve your problem. He will tell you what's up. And then if you look at it, right? Well, one, there's some subliminal economics there. It's the perfect show to peddle paternity. And, somebody had said in a comment, because I think I talked about this on my other channel, that Maury something has some ownership in paternity companies. I don't know. I haven't bothered to check. Probably do. But they making out like bandits. Like, you get a little kid now, say, what you want to do? I want to work for a paternity testing company. All right, we got some classes for you. You have some classes and stuff. Somebody walk across the stage or something, get their diploma, say, what you going to do? I majored. Oh, what you major in? I majored in paternity testing. Well, all right. Because they're going to have, eventually at some point, they're going to have some other stuff, some tertiary, secondary, and tertiary, like products with that. I can't even think. Usually I can see the stuff. I'm like, because I'm just thinking about that. I was like, they're going to have to expand on that. Have like support groups for men and women, or, have support groups for men who are not the father, or for women who couldn't get over on the father or something. It was like, yeah, I tried to tell him, even though, the kid was light skinned and the father, was chocolate, and that the ears were totally different and all of that. And, I tried to find where they looked alike. I mean, look at them. Because y'all knows they always do that. I mean, it's something. And you know what? It's still, the main thing was that going to the white man for solutions, upper class white man. But just how they show dysfunction. I mean, they show, because first of all, despite them going on there, it's very scripted, right? Because think about it. Those parts where they get on there, they before they even come out on stage, they have those segments where they're saying, Maury, I worked hard, and that's the only man I slept with. I'm getting tired of him and his family saying these kids ain't his. They always talk like that. It's like the same intonation, rhythm. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. But what does that do? And think about who talk like that. It's like, wait a minute. You promoting a certain thing on there. That's a subliminal thing, because you got some people, they probably don't even have to coach them at this point. They come on there and do that. But that's kind of a programming thing. Also, too, what's the subliminal message for poor whites and blacks? When you have some women on there, she got about 15 dudes on there, still can't figure out the father. Who does that message hit? Or even the kids, who does that message hit? And sometimes every now and then I've seen some episodes, they have some kids on there, but it's always the same thing, right? You got some badass kid. They get on there and, of course they go through some boot camp or something. And, it's good for entertainment, but it still promotes that dysfunction and everything. Or it still kind of celebrates, because they say, hey, if you dysfunction enough, you can get on Maury. And plus, I'm going to be honest, then maybe, hopefully they do this behind when the cameras aren't rolling. If a kid come on there with some issues, they got to look at the parents, right? And, yeah, I know this is sounding like something I would do on my other channel, but you still got to think about the subliminals there, because it says the kids are not responsible, or the parents aren't responsible for how the kids are. Like I remember I saw one years ago, had this 7-year-old girl dressed up in all this hoochie attire and everything. And the mother like, I don't know what to do. Well, that little 7-year-old don't have a job probably. Probably can't be taken seriously going in any store buying stuff. Only way that little child had some stuff was that the mother bought it for him. But they act innocent. See, that's a subliminal thing too. Like you can't parent, right? And it's a subliminal thing of saying this is irresponsible. Like I know a lot of black women, and I did a video on my main channel about that. I said black women in mass need to boycott those shows, because it's not a good look. But a subliminal thing. Think about the message. Think about the message it says to some good men. Think about the message it says to some other women. And one of the messages is not only just being promiscuous and not being careful sexually, but also, hey, I can go to God, the white man, to get this man who, didn't really want me that much anyway, to take care of his kids, or take care of this kid that might not be his anyway. Think about that. And even something now, if you think about the whole child support thing and everything, you can get some guy who's, just say he's the father and stuff and try to force something instead of saying, okay, well, wait a minute. All right, we're doing all this, but are we doing something about the issues? And it's deep. It's sending a message out there in so many ways, right? Also send a message about stupidity, especially with some men on there, especially with some brothers, right? it sends the message out. Like, if you, okay, like they always had those segments where, it's like, it's not even a paternity thing, but where a woman is accusing her man of cheating, right? And, you get somebody on there, they've done watch Maury, big fan, know what's up. But they always put them in a green room beforehand with a sexy person. And I'm like, okay. Anybody with any sense watching got to say, okay, this is stupid. And, if it's a black male, that person's stupid. And then people say, oh, well, black men can't control their dicks or something. Even when a situation where they know it could be a setup. Like, in the very extremely, extremely unlikely event I could be on Maury, and for whatever reason, like some woman, like, I just lapse or something, and the moonshine get to me that bad, and I mess with some ratchet, and then she got me in some, or like in a long-term relationship with a ratchet, she say, well, you been cheating. They put me in a green room, I'm just gonna sit there. Somebody come in, they be like talking, I'm like, yeah, They get close, I'm like, back the fuck off, and be loud about it, right? And I know somebody, I'm saying this isn't kind of fun, but just check, if you ever check the subliminals, any of those talk shows like that, they promoting dysfunction, they promoting a message. Like that one time, and I talked about this, I think it was on the Steve Wilkos show. You had that kid who was, you had that kid on there who, this little girl tried to say he was a father of her babies. And it turned out he wasn't. But then her mother and his mother still tried to force him to still be a father. And a lot of times people, they might just think, oh, well, he needs somebody to step up for the kids. Like, no. What message? That message, the message that's sent to many black men, especially who watch that, was black women ain't on their side. Even when they are righteous, their own mother ain't on their side. Think about it. Every time if you ever watch it, watch every single story and think about the message that it sends. Think about the message. Or even on something like, and I know, like speaking of paternity, now I've said it before, I love me some Lauren Lake. I ain't gonna lie. She make a brother want to act right. Seriously. I just, good God. I hope somebody I hope somebody connected to us in one of my videos where I mentioned her name to her. Shoot. Cause she got that right combination of feistiness but softness. I love that. That turns me on. But even on there, I peeped how, like, a lot of times on that show, you get dudes saying, I ain't even know I had a child. You didn't tell me anything. Now, somebody lying. But, you got some dudes on there, they be saying a woman telling them 2 years after the baby born and whatnot. And they be like, no, I told you. And, like I saw one the other day, dude was saying, look, I told you, we got a paternity test. I'd have did everything. He turned out to be the father. But, but that sends a message to other men. That sends a message relationship-wise. That's why I say sisters should boycott that thing. That the subliminal message that sends to brothers is sisters can't be trusted. Even this thing with Jill Scott. Now, Jill Scott's really just one woman, but it sends a message to brothers. Right? It sends a message to brothers. It's a subliminal thing. See, pay attention to all this stuff. It's that subliminal thing. Think about the message it sends. And it's a deliberate message because think about, like I said, look at how when they do those little testimonies before they come on stage, they all speak the same way. You got to be coached to say that when you think about it. Somebody coaching you, that's an intonation. They probably do several takes. They even probably write it out or something. I could tell how they talking. It was like, because who the hell talks like this all the time? Maury. Seriously. And then it's like, no matter what, you get this white man, Maury, God, who doesn't, he gonna tell people he don't know the situation, don't know maybe the person in trade. Oh, you gonna take care of that baby. Don't even know the dude's circumstances. Now, just to be clear before somebody make a big deal out of that, if you make a child, it's your child, you take care of it. But it's just how Maury does it. And that's a subliminal thing. Because there's always let's go. Hey, let's go to that upper class. See, it's like even some whites should be upset about that. Even some whites should be like, oh, hold up. Because truth be told, I know people talk about stuff like white supremacy and think whites are united. Yeah, please. If I can find 100 subcultures in Black America, I can find about 500 in white America. They not united. They definitely not a monolith. But this shit tends to be more along class lines. So they should be looking at that like, hold up, you know. But yeah, peep it sometime. Peep everything. All these talk shows, even these court shows, peep what you're seeing and the message that it sends out. No matter how good they trying to be, peep the message, right? Peep what's going on. Like anything. Hell, even sports sometime. Even sports, not to the same extent because they're more spontaneous, but you still get some stuff. Like, there's still a little scuttle in the NFL about black quarterbacks versus white quarterbacks. Think about it. Still. You know, even though you have somebody like a Russell Wilson who's been very consistent. It's funny, his name don't come up a lot when you talk about really great black quarterbacks. Like, very good, you know. This guy done won a Super Bowl, so, you know. It's kind of funny. But, of course, you know, Brady... You know, Brady's the great hope. That's some subliminal shit. Shit, I could do something just on Brady and what he represents. Because trust me, when Brady retires, I trust me, they're gonna try to find a replacement for the image. Because he looks like God. Anyway, that's it. This is one of my flows, y'all. You know what's funny? Y'all tell me, because sometimes I start off with something, but, you know, when you get into that consciousness, you get into that spirit, you just flow. All right, so let me know. All right, I'll talk to y'all later, though. Peace. Peace and blessings, rise and transform. Sometimes I get caught up when I'm supposed to say at the end of these things. Anyway, I'll let y'all later. Peace.